Social Club, Ara Mazium Offices, Ikunda Bookshop, Kariakoo mtaa wa Mhunda, House of Wisdom, Mezzanine nambari 22 NHC House, Samora Avenue, Dar es Salaam, MacBooks and Brains, Mlimani City Mall, duka nambari 44, Dar es Salaam, TPH Books, barabara ya Samora, Elite Bookstore, Mbezi njia panda Goba, Mlimani Bookshop, Kariakoo mtaa wa Sikukuu na Lindi, Timiza Malengo, Ubungo Kona, Chuo Kikuu, Bookmart Online Shop, Instagram, Bookmart TZ, Twitter, Bookmart 1, Jamani Investment Limited, Nyerere Road, Airport Terminal 2, Shinyanga, Kahama Bookshop Center, mtaa wa Lumerezi, Arusha, Kase Bookstore, mtaa wa Sekei, A Novel Idea, TFA Center, Arusha, Tanzania, Dodoma, Lugarawa Bookshop, Dodoma mjini, barabara ya 8, Moshi, Ape Bookshop, Moshi mjini, Christian Bookshop, Moshi mjini.
Wahi nakala yako sasa kwenye duka lolote lililopo karibu na
Tuzo za Icon zilizoandaliwa na Dr. Reginald Mengi, Persons with Disability Foundation, zitatolewa tarehe 17 Machi mwaka 2019 badala ya tarehe 2 Februari mwaka 2019 iliyotangazwa awali. Tuzo hizi zitafanyika katika ukumbi wa Diamond Jubilee. Mgeni rasmi atakuwa makamu wa rais wa Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania, Mheshimiwa Mama Samia Suluhu Hassan.
Over 100 families in Kilambo villages' homes flooded by water. Activists call for formation of an investigative team on death of Caroline Mwatha. National Stadium may be closed before the Under-17 AFCON Championships begin. Good evening, this is Capital News at 9:30. My name is Vanessa Victor. Let's get started with the national news. Over 100 families from Migomba, Mbuyuni and Mchangani divisions in Kilambo village, Tangazo ward in Mtwara region's homes have been surrounded by water after River Ruvuma was flooded and water entered their residences.
We received help today. Nonetheless, this has damaged our farms. This has affected students as some cannot go to school. There are 86 students, out of which 24 are sitting for exams this year. Farm produce and livestock have been damaged too. We've advised people to leave this area. There are 3 groups of people. Those that are refusing to leave, but there's also the second group too, who are stuck and have nowhere to go. And the last group is the one with no resources to relocate.
The Minister for Energy and Minerals, Dr. Medad Kalemani, has called upon contractors of the companies Arab Contractors and El Swedi Electric from Egypt, who have been entrusted with the task of constructing a power-generating project of 2,115 megawatts, which will be entered into the national grid through River Rufiji waterfalls, to do the work with the highest quality which is expected of them. Dr. Kalemani made those remarks during the official handing over of the area that will be used for the construction of the project, which has a size of 61.3 square kilometers. The area to be used for the project will involve construction of a dam with a capacity to contain 34 billion liters of water, a power generating station with 9 power generators, and a way of distributing 400 kilovolts of power from the project area to Chalinze so that it can link the Dodoma and Dar es Salaam lines of electricity.
My call to the contractor: we want you to fulfill this project diligently and be completed on time. If possible, 2 or 3 months before the due date.
I
have to confirm the commitment that Egypt as government and His Excellency our President did to the Honorable Dr. Magufuli, the President of Tanzania, personally, that government of Egypt will be supporting the Egyptian consortium and the government of Tanzania to the extent needed to deliver this project with the quality and in the time, regardless challenges we have.
Kutoka kwenye kauli mbiu ya mpango wa pili wa maendeleo.
From the second development plan, there shall not be industrial development without electricity, because electricity is an essential resource for growth of factories as we implement industrial policy in Tanzania. We will be happy for all the pledges made today come into reality as soon as possible. But launch of this project here is one move that will bring positive impact.
Asanteni sana.
Kisutu Resident Magistrate Court has dismissed an appeal that was made by the defendant of the case of economic sabotage facing the former Vice President of TFF, Michael Wambura. Michael Wambura's lawyer, Madura Magafu, submitted an appeal to the court in which he requested the court dismiss the case because all 17 charges against his client were not opened under the law of economic sabotage. Magafu claimed that the case was supposed to be opened just like any other normal criminal case, which would then give his client the rights to reply to the charges brought up against him. Magafu also claimed that according to Section 129 of the Criminal Procedure Act, the court has the authority to oppose its registration of the case unless they are actual crimes which have been allegedly committed. Magafu claimed as well that Section 129 of the CPA gives authority to the court concerned to dismiss the case. As he was giving his verdict today after examining the arguments of both sides, the senior magistrate Kevin Mhina said that Section 3 of the law of economic sabotage strips the Kisutu court of jurisdiction to preside over a case of economic sabotage. After reading his explanations, Magistrate Mhina informed the defense that if it had not been satisfied with the verdict which had been given by Kisutu court, then it was free to open an appeal at the High Court. Judge Mhina then adjourned the case to February the 28th of 2019, when it will come up for another mention and the defendant was returned to remand custody. Wambura is facing 17 charges in the case of economic sabotage number 10 of 2019, one charge of forgery, one charge of giving and presenting fake documents, 13 charges of deceitful acquisition of money, and 2 charges of money laundering. 4 ministers of the committee formed by President Dr. John Pombe Magufuli to follow up on all reserve areas claimed to be invaded by residents in various parts of the country have directed Morogoro region to temporarily halt the exercise to remove residents of 3 streets of Mindu Ward who have claimed to have invaded Mindu Dam until the committee is satisfied with what will happen to the residents once they are removed from the reserve. When leading the group of ministers of tourism, natural resources, agriculture, defense, President's Office, Regional Administration and Local Government, Livestock and Fisheries, as well as the Environment, the Minister of Land, Housing and Human Settlement Development, William Lukuvi, after inspecting the dam, gave the following directives.
I want you to suspend the operations until the minister gives you permission to carry on. I call on the findings to be given to the Minister of Water. He will give you permission. These people were building houses at areas that have been allocated for development projects. Mr. Mayor, you have the responsibility of stopping people from doing so. This is your responsibility.
Watu hawa walianza kujenga nyumba, mnawaona watu wa mji
ambao wapo pamoja walilipo lakini wameendelea kuwepo.
The number of people who own houses in this area are 133, and 261 owns farms. However, there are people who have already been compensated but have failed to vacate. This is the first phase of building this dam, and we are moving fast to the second phase. These people must leave immediately because this dam is very big in size. it will be dangerous for people to continue living in this area.
I
urge the ministry to agree with us regional government leaders. These people should be given directives for all to vacate at one time. On Wednesday, we will have a meeting here to inform them to vacate immediately, because the feasibility study that is carried out to upgrade this dam is confusing us even further. We have begun visiting Mindu Dam and heading to Kilombero Valley, which is known as Kilombero Forest Reserve, and Kilombero Ramsasai, which is a source of River Rufiji, although our main focus is in Ngongwa, where people are living at the junction of 3 rivers.
Wimbili Orthopedic Institute Moi has begun a 3-day hip and spinal cord operation camp with cooperation from specialists from India, whereby the exercise is aimed at reducing costs of treatment for patients who have been traveling out of the country to seek this type of treatment.
To build it as a capacity building for the local doctors here. Through MOI, we are very grateful to the President of Tanzania and to the office bearers of MOI, especially Dr. Boniface and Dr. Samuel, for supporting our initiative. Today, we are operating 3 cases in all, 2 for spine and 1 for hip. The spine, one of the surgeries has just got over. It was a fracture fixation which has been completed in just a little over an hour. So it's been fairly quick in terms of the time that has been taken. So we are basically trying to demonstrate the newer techniques that the doctors back in India learn, and we want to pass it on to the doctors here without them being traveling there. So this relationship is going to go on in the form of training, surgical training, better information, even support in developing infrastructure, advices. All those things are going to carry on.
Over 200 houses in Changwaela Mapinga division in Bagamoyo district coast region have been demolished, leaving people with nowhere to live for over 3 days now. This has been due to land conflict in the area between them and the person who claims to own the land.
This is my house that was demolished. How am I to pick up the pieces? I've not eaten anything since yesterday. We are suffering so much. I'm old and I'm a widow. I've always lived here. Today they came and demolished my house. I have a grandchild, and because of this, he hasn't been to school today. All my things are under the rubble. I built a very good house, but when I just moved in, some Maasai men came and caused trouble. In defending myself, I was attacked on the head and had to have stitches. I asked Honorable President to help us. We've nowhere to live. We are suffering.
Kutokana kwamba ni eneo kubwa sana ambalo wanaishi watu.
Owner is called Adam, and the one living here is Malipula. Most of the settlers have just encroached into this area. So I notified local government authority about this. There have been some unlawlessness as a result in this area, which I also reported to the police. Yesterday I was informed that the police, together with a group of Maasai men, demolished some property.
The Regional Commissioner of Katavi, Amos Makala, has closed the Mlibansi Airport that is located in the Mishamo residential area, which is an area where Burundi refugees live in Tanganyika district. The airport is said to be used by some politicians from Burundi as a way to enter the country, and it seems that once in the country they try to further develop their political activities, which could spark violent conflict here in the country.
I've been informed that some politicians have been welcomed and some are flying over in a helicopter. I will not allow this. Refugees must be moved to respective areas, as this area has not been set aside for them. There is still the problem of violence against women and children. We've spoken about this at length, so everyone should understand that this is not allowed. But there is also the problem of people being forced to obey the law.
The prosecution in the case that began in Bukoba High Court from February 6th of this year is expected to finish presenting evidence in the case that the teacher of Kibeta Primary School in Bukoba Municipal Respicious Patrick Rutazangira, who is accused of killing a grade 5 student Spurius Eradius after accusing him of stealing the handbag of his fellow teacher Julius Gerald, who is also charged with the murder. This was explained by the Chief Prosecutor Shim Ngole, who added that when the prosecution completes its evidence, then the supervising judge Lamek Michael Mlacha will listen to the defense's case. He said that the prosecution had 25 witnesses, but due to some witnesses providing similar testimonies, the prosecution has been forced to collect testimony from a few witnesses, which include some of the students, the doctor who conducted the test on the body of the deceased, the police, the deceased guardian, some teachers who witnessed the incident, as well as the border driver. Projectus Mulokozi, the attorney defending the accused, along with Aaron Kabunga and Aneth Riza, said that his clients have 2 witnesses and will provide their evidence when the time comes, also adding that the accused team is well prepared to ensure that justice is served. 2 children from one family have escaped death after the house they were living in, belonging to retired teacher John Madale at Kidinda Street in Bariadi District, Simia region, caught on fire. The fire began at 6:30 p.m. when the children were inside and are said to have been the cause of the fire as they tried to switch on a gas stove, which later exploded.
From inside the house. I called the police, who alerted the fire brigade. There is a house belonging to a retired teacher who had let it out. What happened here is that 2 children, Rose Stephen, aged 9, and Adam Stephen, aged 7, who lit a gas stove and could not control the fire, which set alight some items nearby. Luckily, the fire brigade arrived at the scene and rescued them.
And that's all for national news. International news is next. And in international news, 2 days after the body of activist Caroline Mwatha, who was found dead 7 days after her disappearance, human rights activists in Kenya have called for the formation of an investigative team to determine what led to her death. This follows as the body of the activist had a post-mortem in a private mortuary after officials in the city morgue went on strike.
From the report released by the Director of Criminal Investigations in Kenya, it has shown a lot of shortcomings. That is why we are here to urge for thorough investigations to be carried out, including surgery, that we have been recommending for all this long.
Burundi has been handed a building that will be the state house of the country's president by Chinese ambassador. The ambassador of China to Burundi, who handed over the building, said that it was a good sign of relations between Burundi and China.
By introducing projects that will contribute in developments in the country. Since independence, our country never had such kind of a building. That is why I will continue commending the government of China, which has brought this gift to us. It will definitely strengthen diplomatic and political relations between Burundi and China.
With Rwanda preparing to commemorate 25 years of the Tutsi Genocide Memorial Day in April, the National Commission for the Fight Against Genocide has announced that there will be changes in April's commemoration.
I know you are used to dialogues that were held during the commemoration week. However, the dialogues had to be reduced to 3, and this year there shall be only 2 dialogues. The first dialogue will be on 7th, and the last one will be held on 10th of April. These changes had to be made to allow people continue to work, not only mourning for their loved ones.
And that is all for international news, but do stay with us. We'll be back with business news after this break.
Watch Business Edition as we talk to business leaders and experts in sectors that are transforming Tanzania's economy.
To be rich, I have to be a business person.
It's not an easy road at all.
People need to understand. You must quickly think, how cost effective are you going to be?
Business acts as a way in which it can bridge that gap.
Business Edition will keep you informed on latest developments in the financial sector, extractive industry, tourism, agriculture, energy, construction, and so much more. Meet entrepreneurs who create employment opportunities. Watch Business Edition on Friday at 8:15 p.m.
Welcome back and on to business news. Small-scale avocado farmers in Rungwe District and Mbeya region, along with experts of Rungwe Avocado Company, have detailed a plan to raise production of the crop, which has been growing quickly and showing significant economic benefit among farmers in Rungwe, as well as increasing the national revenue.
All we want is for avocado farmers to have the capacity to store, pack, and export our avocados by ourselves. When producing seeds, farmers should use budding method, which is one of the methods that is used by some of the farmers in making sure that seeds are available.
The Deputy Minister of Transport and Communication Engineer Atashasta Nditie has directed Tanzania Telecommunications Company Limited, TTCL, to ensure that within 30 days they resolve the challenge of availability of airtime vouchers as well as SIM cards in some problem areas.
Management, please make sure that you solve the problem of scarcity of TTCL products is ended in 30 days. We are tired of getting report that there are some places having voucher without SIM cards and other places having SIM cards without vouchers. I'm happy with innovations done by T-Pesa, where they want to make Tanzanians not to walk with cash. We have a challenge of connecting the whole country. Few years ago, we were not available, but now you can find TTCL services in many parts of the country. But we have not reached our main target yet.
The Commissioner of Policy from the Ministry of Finance and Planning, Dr. Frederick Mwakibinga, has directed the Board of Appeals for Professionals of Purchasing and Supply to work effectively to ensure the experts of the field avoid institutions they work for from getting a loss through bids supervised by the experts.
Our job is to improve, develop and regulate experts in procurement and supply. As regulators, we observe service providers and procurement and supply officers. According to our procedures, it is most likely not to satisfy everybody.
Taarifa za ukaguzi unaofanywa na PPRA na pia
Audit report done by PPRA and CAG has revealed procurement that has been done indiligently has been on increase, causing the government to incur huge losses. This is unethical according to our codes of conduct. The question is, why is board not taking any action to
And that is all for business news. We'll be back with sports in just a bit.
Hi, my name is Kotaro Tokuda.
What's up? My name is Céline Garnier.
I'm John Barnes from Liverpool Football Club. The hip, hop, a hip, the hip, hip, hop. You don't stop the rockin' to the bang, bang boogie. Say up, jump the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie to beat. Now what you hear?
I'm watching Sports Gazette.
I'm watching Sport Gazette.
And you're watching Sports Gazette.
With Sebastian.
With Sebastian. Peace out.
Yes! And you can also watch Sports Gazette for highlights and interviews regarding sports. Do not miss Sports Gazette every Wednesday at 7 p.m. only on Capital Television.
And on to sports. The government has announced the possibility of the closure of the National Stadium 30 days before the Under-17 Africa Cup of Nations starts, Tanzania being the host.
Tutalazimika.
If things get worse, we'll be forced to close the National Stadium 1 month before the competition starts. We will count 30 days before the competition starts to give our experts, local and foreign, time to make sure things are fine.
The Dar es Salaam Athletics Association says that they will not send their regional team to the national cross-country competition scheduled to take place this Saturday in Kilimanjaro region.
Maandalizi ya hizo mbio tulianza muda mrefu, lakini yameanza kusuasua kutokana na tarehe.
We started the preparations a long time ago, but there were challenges with dates. They said it will be in the 23rd of February. We were prepared for that. Then they postponed, and now they say it is the day after tomorrow. They gave us a letter very late, and as the manager, I cannot send the info to the RC that I asked for money just 7 days.
Haraka siku 7 niombe hela za kusafirisha watu, na hawa ni watu, ni binadamu, alafu na safari hiyo ni ya kujitegemea kwenda na kurudi.
Houston Rockets' James Harden recorded his 31st consecutive 30-point game on Thursday, tying Wilt Chamberlain for the second longest streak in the NBA.
29-year-old Harden, the NBA's most valuable player, scored 42 points in 121-111 defeat by the Minnesota Timberwolves. Chamberlain, who also holds the top position, scored at least 30 points in 65 consecutive games in 1961-62. His round of 31 started that same season. Thursday night also marked Harden's 22nd 40-point game of the season. No other player in the NBA has more than 7 40-point games. The Rockets, who are currently 5th in the Western Conference, have won 16 of the games when Harden scores 40 points.
Real Madrid defender Sergio Ramos has denied getting booked on purpose late on in Wednesday's Champions League last under-16 first leg at Ajax.
Fouled Kasper Dolberg in the 89th minute, with Real leading 2-1, earning a suspension for the second leg. Television commentators intimated he sought the booking, but FIFA rules state a player who purposely obtains a booking can be banned for 2 games. Afterwards, Ramos, who's 32 years old, tweeted, "I have not forced the card." The Spain international was making his 600th appearance for Los Blancos, and his side secured a first-leg advantage through Marco Asensio's goal 2 minutes before the controversial booking.
Tottenham produced a magnificent second-half display to totally dominate Bundesliga leaders Borussia Dortmund and take control of this Champions League last 16 tie in the first leg at Wembley.
Remarkable revival to advance from the group stage, and they made the most of that hard work to establish a perfect platform to reach the quarterfinals. Spurs were irresistible after a tight first half, Son Heung-min breaking the deadlock 2 minutes after the interval with a side-foot volley from Jan Vertonghen's cross. Dortmund regarded by many as favourites, with Spurs missing injury Talisman Harry Kane as well as Dele Alli failed to respond, and the home side rammed home their superiority in the last 10 minutes.
And that sports item ends our news bulletin. On behalf of everyone who worked to bring you this bulletin, thank you for watching and have a good night, and as well, happy Valentine's Day.